one of our local sports commentators right here in this great city of Baltimore, Maryland, home of the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm joined by the one and only Gabby DiPaula. Gabby, how you doing today?
Good. How are you, Brian?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me as we get ready to discuss Week 9 in the NFL. First and foremost, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, so we got to talk about it before we move forward. Those stinking Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm biased. It's my show, so I can do that. I was told I could do that here. They snuck out of Baltimore with the victory. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. They beat the Ravens. I personally think it was pass interference. I know they don't typically call that on the final play. I was standing on the sideline and I saw the gentleman run right for Willie Snead's back. No intention for the ball. What did you see?
It kind of looked like he was going for the ball. It's like a 50-50 shot. However, I'm angrier at the fact that they didn't add 10 seconds to the injury. That you could, kind of like fake an injury for it. And that's how I felt when I was watching it, because it's a Ravens-Steelers game, right?
Yep.
So that's how I felt. But that's what I was angrier about.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I was so in tune to the play. I was looking at the clock, but I didn't realize that the time wasn't added. I got to ask you this, because I know, one of the reasons I always enjoy, and shout out to Pablo watching it. He welcomes you to Haps in the chat. One of the things that I know you're always good at doing in your post game is breaking down different plays, and that's one of the things I can always appreciate about your broadcast. I want to bring up the fourth and 3, not the last possession, but what could have been the go ahead, the possession before that. How did you feel about that play call? They said it was a run pass option. We saw obviously Lamar ran forward, came up 2 yards short. How did you feel about the play call when you saw it?
Last year would have worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I felt like everyone in that stadium knew who was going to get the ball, and everyone knew. So why would you run that play again? If they had Marshall Riondo last year, maybe it looked a little different. I felt like they should have done something more with Gus Edwards, because I felt like Gus Edwards was just knocking out players, breaking tackles. I always felt like that about him, or even J.K. Dobbins, who has incredible balance. So that's what I felt. You knew as soon as they lined up who was getting the ball and what they were going to run.
Yeah, and that was the thing that really irritated me, because I was like, all right, and they're 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ugly 5-2. If you remember the Super Bowl season, Ray Rice had a comment when they reached 9-2, and he said, "We're a pissed off 9-2 team."
Yeah.
And then as soon as that happened, they went on to lose 4 of the next 5. They go win the Super Bowl. But, it was weird. So, and I know some people have them in their top 5, some people don't. How confident are you in this Baltimore Ravens team moving forward, understanding the struggles that the unanimous MVP Lamar Jackson is having right now? How confident are you in the Ravens finishing the job this year?
Going to the Super Bowl, I am not confident at all. In the beginning of the year, I completely felt differently, even with COVID. Just the way they came off of losing to the Titans and just that ugly game, and coming into the season, I thought they would just, kind of go off of last season, have a chip on their shoulder, and go all the way. I had them going 14-2, losing to Kansas City, which they did, and then losing on Thanksgiving Day at Heinz Field. And now that they are 5-2, they lost to the Steelers this past weekend. It's different. I don't think they have that spark that they did last year. You and I were just talking about it. There's definitely something missing. I don't really have that much confidence in them right now. definitely have confidence in the Chiefs. Still have confidence in the Titans. There's a lot of other teams that I feel like that will go farther than the Ravens this year.
I can understand where you're coming from. I will say this: not one to have believe in moral victories.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were up 17-7 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, understand the variables that happen. Emotional game. Matt Judon gets tossed. Ronnie Stanley gets hurt. I actually like Orlando Brown Jr. at the left tackle position. I believe in them. I believe that this team can get hot and make a run. You know, when they won the Super Bowl, they did it without their best cornerback at that time, Ladarius Webb. They found a way to will. And I think even in 2000, and I know, you know, the defense was amazing, but most people remember that October they couldn't score a touchdown. And, you know, they had to make a quarterback change. Now, it's different. I understand the NFL is different. I look at the Chiefs as possibly being maybe like the Patriots or the Broncos from 2012, where everything may go well, but I think in the end, the Ravens may get gritty and take them out. And I know I am speaking as a biased fan right now. I don't care. But that's my opinion. Obviously, there's no opinion that becomes a fact. But I mentioned Ronnie Stanley, and he's out for the season. Obviously, this hurts. Who on the offensive line are you looking to see step up and make an impact?
Well, right now, Orlando Brown Jr., because he's going to be taking the Ronnie Stanley left tackle spot. Patrick McCary, who took Matt Skura's spot last year, did a pretty good job at center. He fell off a little bit at the end of the year. He's going to be playing right guard as of right now because Tyree Phillips is injured right now as well. So I'm really hoping that he makes some kind of jump from last year. I really like Bradley Bozeman this year. He's going into his third year from Alabama. He plays center down there, and they have him at left guard. And I remember in training camp last year, everyone was wondering who was going to play the left guard. A lot of people thought they were going to bring someone else in, and Bradley Bozeman kind of won that job. And I felt like he really stepped up this year and the end of last year. He's taking just everything differently to a completely different level, and you can tell in film as well.
Yeah. And I certainly hope so. Pablo says the Chiefs and Ravens look beatable again. And that's true. I think to me last year felt like they was playing checkers, you know, just running through teams. This year they kind of getting humbled. And I think that makes, you know, it's like I brought up the earlier teams in the John Harbaugh regime, those win ugly teams. And once they find a way to like win these games, we saw them do that last year with San Francisco, and even with Buffalo, if you want to count that maybe, and the Cleveland game when they really got the division, clinched the bye. So I think that this is an opportunity. You know, I will take the ugly wins if it means for the bigger prize at the end, obviously.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. But again, there's just something not clicking on the offense, and can't really put a finger on it right now. Still trying to figure that out. And I think without Ronnie Stanley and then, you know, having Tyree Phillips, he's a rookie, but he's done a pretty good job on the line as a right guard, and switching up the line again, I think will be a little challenging. But they have the right pieces, I think. It's just being able to continue on and stacking wins.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna jump ahead to Tennessee. Do you see them winning that game?
I haven't even gotten there yet, just because of this win, or this loss. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. I think they will. I think they'll win there. I still think they may lose on Thanksgiving.
Really?
I think, yeah. But I think they'll win in Tennessee, or win against Tennessee.
Okay. I think they're gonna win Thanksgiving. I think, you know, I think they're gonna do it. I think they'll be fine. But Marlon Humphrey, he tweeted he got the Rona. So he's sidelined due to COVID-19. Please, everybody, it's not a political statement. Wear a mask. You know, I hope that with him, we look at it like, okay, they got the coronavirus, they better now. I truly hope that he can return to form because it attacks people differently. I brought that up about Cam Newton. We don't know how, he's Superman, so of course he's going to live up to that persona. So I'm really hoping that Humphrey, can return to form. And what do you think about? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you can go.
Now I was gonna say, what do you think about this, as well as like just what COVID-19 is doing to the NFL as a whole?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's like coming in its ugly form, like you said, like just the amount of tweet today, like how many teams did we see that had like a player either test positive or a trainer test positive or someone where they had to completely shut down test positive. So yeah, I think it, like you said, like it takes everyone differently. I am not a doctor. My sister works in the ICU. She works with COVID patients. She said like it works,
Thank
or it
her
hits
for me.
people differently. Yeah, it works. It hits people differently, but I do too. I hope he comes back into true form as well. I mean, we can all pray and hope.
Yeah, it's really sucks. You seen Andy Dalton could have returned, and now he's sidelined due to it. We also saw, I believe, Matt Stafford won't be playing this week, or he's in protocol. One of the I saw on your Twitter feed that one of the Colts trainers,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very interesting, and I'm telling people that, you got to be careful. We're getting into the colder months,
Mm-hmm.
and we was told that it stays on surfaces and they thought it was going to go away with the heat. Well, the cold is returning. So that theory that it stays on surfaces for a long time is returning too. So please wear a mask. But looking forward to this week. I think I keep calling him Marlon. I think Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, is due for a big game. I think he's going to have about 7 or 8 receptions, 100 and some odd yards, and 2 touchdowns. What you think?
This game, I would think so. I would hope so. We saw what he tweeted after the game with the Ravens against the Steelers, and I think everyone kind of came in again to like this season thinking he was gonna have this 1,000-yard season, having several more touchdowns than he does right now. He only has 2, including the one from this past weekend. You would think he would be more of a target, and he really hasn't. And he's there to like help spread out the offense and everything. He's also been double teamed several times as well, and it's again like I'm not sure. I think I felt like in the beginning of the season, the first couple games, Lamar was trying way too hard to make those deep passes. They weren't just trying to get the first down; they were trying to go all the way. And of course, it works sometimes. But Lamar, who's still trying to become a better threat down, as a deep passer, like it just hasn't worked. So, it's only his 3rd year and his 2nd full season, playing a full season. So I still think that they should start off smaller, kind of what like Tom Brady sometimes does, right? Especially when he did it with the Patriots. He used to just get the first down just to move the chains, what he did with Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski as well. So that's how I think that they should use Marquise right now, just because right now Lamar's not really making those deep passes. We saw something relative this past weekend with Devin Duvernay when he had to jump to make that catch in the middle of the field, but it hasn't been consistent.
Yeah. And you brought up something about Tom Brady. It takes me back to 2001, when they won the Super Bowl. He started off as a game manager, and he worked his way up. Now, Brady also did 4 years of college, if I'm not mistaken, where Lamar did too. He's really just he would really, by all means, be a rookie this year, and I know like we live in a microwave society. He's good, but I do think a lot of people are harder on him as far as wanting him to go out there and fully succeed, which is understandable. But I think there's, we kind of got to like let off a little bit. Like at the end of the day, we got a quarterback. We didn't have to go through that long stretch that some teams have. You look at like the Denver Broncos. They had John Elway, and then they had a rotating door before they finally got Peyton Manning, and now they're back into that. You know what I mean? We didn't necessarily have to do that. But what's your prediction for you got a score?
Yeah, well, kind of going off that real quick.
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Like the Ravens fans do have like a standard,
Mm-hmm.
and the Ravens are a winning organization. I feel like that's why everyone's kind of disappointed because last year was such a magical year. I mean, I think everyone had them go into the playoffs, and
The video game numbers.
yeah, Lamar got 100% MVP votes. Like you're wondering like what happened? Where are we missing? So.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a standard. I think that's why people get so angry because Lamar has this incredible athleticism. But my predictions, I was going to wait till tomorrow, but because of everything going on with COVID and whatnot. But I am going to say I think the Ravens will win. I think it's going to be close. I say 24-17.
Ooh, okay. 24-17. I'm going to go with 24-14. I think they'll go out there and get it done. I saw a tweet. I think it was from Mark Viviano. He brought up that it was in 1995. So was it 25 years ago today that it was announced that the Browns were coming to Baltimore? Yeah. And I remember that. I remember seeing the at the time Governor Paris Glendening on the screen making it official and getting excited. Now we didn't have the internet back then, but I was in Catholic school, so I went. And I started getting I went to the library or something and I looked at all the sports books and I was like, okay, so let me read up on the Browns history. I was like, oh wait, they never won the Super Bowl. I was like, we ain't get a team that's won the Super Bowl before. But nonetheless, they would be the fastest NFL franchise to win the Super Bowl. So that was amazing to see that. And now, ironically, the week of the announcement anniversary, they play the team that left and should have left the name, the Indianapolis Colts. So I think that's a interesting coincidence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also the Ravens are 0-6 in Indiana, I believe, as well. So
really, wow, they haven't won there.
I don't think they've won there. Yeah.
That's crazy. I guess I never really thought about it. I know, but now you say something, there was years for so many times where we just couldn't beat Peyton Manning, and then I think the last time they played was Andrew Luck. So, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Just weird how the world is right now. But yeah.
Well, I think they get it done. They snap that streak. So we shall see. Let's move on to the rest of the league. Tonight, a couple hours, we'll see the Green Bay Packers take on the San Francisco 49ers, the team that really, kind of took apart their team and looked like they're going, I guess, a rebuild mode after just coming up short in the Super Bowl, blowing a 10-point lead.
I think I saw that they have 14 or 15 guys on IR injured. They have a pretty large number that's on the injury report. I mean, a lot of guys that they're missing. Yeah, I'm taking the Packers. I think the Packers are pretty hot right now.
Yeah. I can't see why not. I'm not a big Packers fan, but I'll just say I vow not to talk bad about them the other day. So shout out to Lucia watching in. I appreciate it. Thanks for the coins as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Packers. I think this is gonna be a blowout, honestly. And then the Washington football team will host the New York Football Giants. Washington 2-5, the Giants 1-7.
The two best NFC East defenses are playing, right? Whatever. I'm going to take Washington. I think the Giants again have come up short the past two games. Mm-hmm. The Eagles and then this past week with the Buccaneers. So I'm going to take the Washington football team.
Yeah, I'm going with them. Funny story or cool note: if you're a Washington football fan, I'll be working the game Sunday. I worked the last two games I worked, they won, so maybe I could be the good luck charm. They're actually my division pick. The way things are going, I think Washington's defense and Ron Rivera's coaching is enough to get them past this division. I respect Doug Peterson, but there's a lot of injuries in Philly. And obviously we know with the Cowboys and the Giants, they're just in shambles.
Yeah.
But I think when it's all said and done, no, I honestly believe Washington will win and they'll have a respectable record. I don't think they're going to be a 7-9 division winner. Because they also have an easy schedule too, considering where they fell last year, you know?
Yeah. I think they have a good defense right now, the Washington football team. So, but it's difficult because the Giants, they played pretty good defense against the Buccaneers. I think everyone was surprised at how that game ended, how it began and how it ended.
Did you watch? So I didn't watch the whole game. It was on Monday night, so I was watching wrestling and flipping back and forth, and I was like, "Oh, I already know how this going to end." You know, when you watch Tom Brady so long, you know that no lead is safe against him. And if you didn't believe it, the Super Bowl proved it. So I said, all right, they up, but we know Brady's going to find his rhythm and he's going to come back. And that's what he did.
Yeah. I mean, towards the end, it was like the end of the third quarter. It wasn't like soon. And the Giants really came up short because there was a couple times where they were driving. Daniel Jones had an interception. I believe the Giants, someone on the Giants had an interception as well, and they came up short where they had to kick a punt. So I mean, it's just they can't execute very well. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the football team and Giants. Good luck.
Yeah. So let's move on. We probably spent more time than they deserved. 5-3. Right. Yeah. 5-3 Bears taking on the 5-2 Titans. This is an opportunity for Tennessee to really kind of show that they belong here. But I mean, the Bears, I know Nick Foles has had some struggles, but they have a pretty solid defense. Who do you like in this one?
I like the Titans. I think the Titans are just, they're kind of like the Ravens right now, where they hit a couple bad games, and I think they'll get back on track. I really like their team and everything that they have going on right now.
Do you believe in Tannehill?
Yeah, I don't think we haven't really seen him choke.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't really been, I felt like the losses weren't so much him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Bears. And I like them, and so I'm going to pick them to win this. It's going to be tight, but I think they're going to get it done. It's going to be fun watching Khalil Mack against Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And then let's see, moving on, we got this would have been a cool game years ago, but the Detroit Lions taking on the 2-5 Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what to say about Minnesota. I thought they was, pretty much tapping out, and then they decided they wasn't last week. But with that, I'm going to go with the Vikings. They're home, so I'm going to take the easy way out. How about you?
I'm a Matt Stafford fan. Even though there's a slight chance he might not play. I think he's got to test negative on Sunday morning for him to play. But I love Matt Stafford. I have his jersey. Just like so right?
I don't know why. What made you a Matt Stafford fan?
I just loved him coming out of Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved him coming out of Georgia. But I also am not really convinced, as I felt like everyone else was in the beginning of the season. Everyone's like, the Vikings are going to be great this year. That Gary Kubiak, big fan of Gary Kubiak, but I mean, it's like, I think what we've seen the past couple of years is everything on paper doesn't mean it's all going to translate onto the field, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what's been happening with the Vikings.
Yeah, that's true. This this could be one of those games, I think. But Stafford's a baller.
He is,
and you got to give him credit. Especially, he had arguably one of the greatest wide receivers ever, and he lost him, without preparation. They didn't get time to build and replace Calvin Johnson, and he still found a way to be, be a big deal as far as the NFL is concerned. Be amongst I'd say the middle upper class of quarterbacks.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think they really surrounded him with the best weapons either, including the offensive line. So
yeah. And so let's see. We got the Carolina Panthers at 3-5 going against the world champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. As much as I would love to see the Panthers win, I think the Chiefs win this. They're home, so I think they win this by 20. What you think?
yeah, I think that's a really good I don't think this is it's not gonna end well for the Panthers.
Yeah, we can just move on. This is an ugly game coming up. 1-6, two a pair of 1-16, essentially probably playing for the number 1 draft pick. That being the Houston Texans, very disappointing Houston Texans, going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is in Jacksonville. I think this is a game that Houston goes out, wins, and they kind of look respectable in the win. And then afterwards, people will be like, "Oh wait, they was 1-6 against another 1-16." How about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans. Pretty much exactly what you said. Because they do have weapons. They just haven't used them correctly, right? They do have some really good players on their team on both sides of the football. So I think the Jaguars are still restructuring everything too. So and then I think they're gonna have a rookie quarterback play as well. I don't think Gardner Minshew is gonna be playing. So.
Yeah. This would be, I don't know. It's gonna be brutal. I think the fans in Jacksonville will be looking forward more to the All Elite Wrestling event that'll take place the night before. But moving on, we got the Seattle Seahawks at 6-1 taking on the Bills at 6-2. This game is in Buffalo. So, the whole West Coast travel thing could come in factor. But to me, it's just hard to go against Russell Wilson. He is my midseason MVP. I think this is the year he gets the MVP, but I definitely think the Seahawks win this one. How about you?
I'm going to take the Bills. I really like John Allen. I really like what they're doing up there, and they're really good at home as well. So even though Russell Wilson's able to really, even if there's 3 minutes left in the game, do not count Russell Wilson out. He will get there and he will win. So I'm going to take the Bills. I think the Bills win this one.
All right. So let's move on. We got the Broncos and the Falcons rematch of the Super Bowl from years ago. Neither one of these teams are Super Bowl competitors, but I actually think the Falcons are going to win this one. I think they're home, so I think they find a way to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons as well. They have so many weapons. How do they not? God, they have so much. They have so much talent on that team. And it's just...
That's a culture thing. That's when you just chalk it up to somebody's not agreeing with somebody. When you see a team like this, And then we got the Raiders 4-3 taking on the Chargers. I think this is gonna be tight. It is in LA, but I think the Raiders win. But this is one of those statement games for them. But it's going to be tight because it's a division game.
It's crazy because the Chargers, I think it's in the last 5 games, they've been up by 10 points at least. 21 points. They've been up pretty comfortably. 21 points should be pretty comfortable, right? If you make a mistake here and there, okay, all right, you should still be able to win it out, and they haven't. So, I'm going to go with the Raiders because of that, because I think the Chargers really can't execute and really pull out the win.
Yeah. Yes.
But, they'll look good next year, though, I think. I'm really excited for what they'll look like next year.
Yeah, that's true.
Funny. I think they'll be pretty competitive next year.
Cool. So let's move on. We have, and folks, if you haven't done so, make sure you share this broadcast, share it with your friends, tell them to hit the retweet button, and also join the Haps News. Pablo says Chargers have lost almost all of their games after being up in the first half. So, Pablo agrees with you. So let's see what we have next. We got, a massacre waiting to happen. I will say that this matchup years ago, I would have been hurt to see this team back to back because I was a fan of the home team, and that was the Dallas Cowboys. They will host the Pittsburgh Steelers. I saw something. Dallas has only scored one touchdown since playing without Dak Prescott in games, meaning like he got hurt, then I won that game, but they have only scored one touchdown in a game since. I think at this point it's just like what's going to be the final score. And I think Pittsburgh wins this by 30.
Yeah. I think we might see I think the Steelers' second string right now is Mason Rudolph. Maybe Mason comes in.
I agree. Dallas just has the worst defense I've seen this year. Without a doubt. Like, you can pretty much do whatever you want against that defense. And yeah, I just don't see it going any other way. Man, poor Dallas. The Dolphins at 4-3 taking on the Cardinals at 5-2. I think this could be a sleeper game, but I like the Cardinals to win this. I really like Arizona, and shout out to Larry Fitzgerald. It seems like he's ageless, and where you see superstars kind of go ring chasing, or to be able to stay there, work with the a rookie quarterback now sophomore, and really had that patience, and that team turned around quicker than I think a lot of people was. I mean, you think about it in 2015, they were a Super Bowl contender. And now, he's trying to get back to that big game. But I like them to win this one. What you think?
Yeah, I have the Cardinals winning in that one too. Kyler Murray, I think I underestimated him because of his height. It's bad for me, but I really like what they've been doing.
I ain't gonna lie, I wanted him to play baseball, but that's just because that's my favorite sport too.
Helps him play football.
Huh?
It's helped him play football.
Yeah, I was like, come on, Kyler, go play baseball, man. But, shout out to him. Let's see, Rock Boys Online saying, what up, B? What's going on? Thanks for joining. So then we have on Sunday night, obviously, when you look at this whole schedule, probably, it's the game of the week without a shadow of a doubt. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6-2 hosting the New Orleans Saints at 5-2. The big story here, Antonio Brown. First of all, I got to ask you this question. Did you want Antonio Brown to come to the Ravens?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
I didn't either. And a lot of people thought I was crazy, but I said, first of all, one thing that people not looking at, like, I understand he's a wide receiver, but he's kind of been in the league for a while. And to have that attitude and the way those antics he had in Las Vegas or Oakland or wherever you want to call it, so.
I just don't like Antonio Brown just because of everything going on with, some of the law that he's been just everything that's been going on. So with him, and I want him completely out of the league. I thought he had his time, his chances with everything. I think he should be out.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion. We don't have to go more into that, but that's me.
What's this says? Sterling Tapu, I put it on the screen, says Bucks win as long as Brady remembers what down it is. Shout out to Haps, man. Now you can put the tweets on the screen. That's really cool. I just noticed that feature. I didn't realize that. So how you see this game turn out? You see another shootout? Well, I don't think they really had a big shootout the last time, but do you see this happen? Being a shootout? Let's see, where is it? It is.
I think the Buccaneers are going to win just because Antonio Brown's going to be back no matter what. Like, I think he's a deep threat for them. And
you got to respect the talent.
And their defense isn't that bad either. No, you're fine. Their defense isn't that bad either. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
I'm going to take the Saints. I think for the first time in history, Tom Brady is going to get swept by a division opponent. Shout out to Ashley Baker. I heard her say that on her podcast this week. I believe she will be going live tonight right here on Haps. So it's either tonight or tomorrow. But, yeah, Tom Brady, and why would he? I mean, he's been in a division with the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets for his whole career. And I believe every year he's played, they won the division. So it's but I think this is the year he gets swept. I'm going, and maybe this is picking with the heart, but I'm going with the Saints to win this one. Okay. And then last but not least, we've talked about these two division teams on Monday night. This game doesn't have that same aura that it would have had about a decade ago. The 2-5 New England Patriots traveling to the Meadowlands to take on the 0-8 New York Jets. Shout out to the ESPN crew who gets an opportunity to go to the New York back-to-back weeks.
the primetime games that are just chosen. You know, like, we're lucky that our Sunday Night Football is a pretty good game, right?
Yeah, last week it wasn't.
Yeah, Monday nights have just been awful. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm going to pick the Jets to win. I say that because I want them to have one win so we can see Trevor Lawrence possibly get drafted and possibly not go to the Jets.
Oh, you don't want to see him go there?
No. No. It sounds like they're going to keep a lot of the same people, a lot of the same coaches next year. No.
That's a problem. So would you see him going to the Jaguars? Would you like to see him go there?
Jaguars, maybe Giants.
Well, you know, the Giants ain't getting rid of Daniel Jones. I don't see that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't see that happening.
I don't see that anyone being happy with Daniel Jones. Doesn't sound like anyone's happy in New York with him, so.
Yeah, that's true. Man, I tell you, that's a tough position to play. You don't get it right at quarterback. And you literally have a small window to get it right. And if you don't, you're out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think.
Oh, okay. Well, so you go with you. So we both going to go with the Jets right here, pulling off. I guess it's an upset. You know, shout out to Peter joining in. But yeah, I think, man, I don't know. This is Cam playing.
I want Jets to win just because I want Trevor Lawrence to possibly get drafted somewhere else, so he doesn't automatically go to the Jets. Unless the Jets completely clean house, then go. But It's not fair that like some of these guys get drafted into these organizations that are still like trying to restructure and rebuild.
That is true. Well, let's see. This might be their best opportunity to get a win. They have the Chargers coming up next week, followed by the Dolphins, the Raiders, Seahawks, the Rams. The Browns is a possibility, but that's going to be at the end of the year. I don't see the Browns making the playoffs if they have a traditional playoff structure. And then they play the Patriots the last game of the season. So I do think I think the Jets both wins either if they have two wins, they'll both come from the Patriots. But I think the Patriots is the only team on their schedule that I'm giving a legit chance to win for them to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I hope the Ravens pull out a win on Sunday.
Look, I hope they pull out a win. I'm telling Baltimore right now, get off Lamar Jackson's back. We finally got a quarterback. There's growing pains that comes with this. Remember, Joe Flacco was 11-5 his rookie year, came back the next year 9-7 and shocked the world when him and the team, you know, obviously he didn't have like the greatest game against the Patriots, but they shocked the world when they beat the Patriots in Foxborough. So the Ravens just one of those teams that's gotta, you know, seem like they just gotta do it ugly. They can't just steamroll through everybody. And I think last year was the first year that we actually was able to like have a lot of games where we could breathe, you know. So Rock Boy says, shout out to the Galvanized podcast. So Gabby, let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me at Gabby DiPaula. It's Gabby DiPaula, DiPaula on Twitter.
All right, folks. Y'all heard what she said. Thank you for joining me this week on Haps News as we close out Goodbye. And